And welcome back. 2 days late, we got Zanpakuto Creation Series. Things got ahead of me, but I'm still making sure that the videos I need to get done get done. Luckily, I only have this, a review, and the what if for today, and I'm actually good for the day. So this one comes to us actually from TG Froggy Gaming, who asked the question, what is Izuku Midoriya or Deku's Zanpakuto? Believe it or not, this is one of the Zanpakutos that I created. It was like the second one I created when creating Zanpakuto for this series. What it was before people started giving me suggestions for characters was I just wrote down a list of genres or series like Naruto, One Piece, all that kind of stuff. My Hero Academia. Wrote down the character and basically said, okay, let me create the Zanpakuto for them. And eventually, if someone gave me the suggestion, I would get to them. Deku was the second guy I wrote down for. Deku is a very interesting character. He's obviously very, very front-forward thinking a lot of times to the point where it can be blinding him in terms of how he views the world in terms of being a hero. Like, I need to do it by myself because it's my idea. It's like, no, it's not, you little dipshit. Just because you got one for all, doesn't mean you have to do everything on your own, because you're not going to be able to do everything on your own. That's just not how it works. And luckily, they addressed that very much in the art earlier down the way, where he had to fight his classmates again. And they're basically like, look, you're not okay. We're here to help you, but you are not okay. And guess what, idiot? Had we not come, you would have lost that fight. You honestly think you can take on One for All like this? I'm sorry. Or sorry. Not One for All. AFO. All for One. All for One, One for All. God, it's so difficult going back and forth with those. But Deku he's very headstrong, but he's also very intelligent. And he's very caring. And he's very soft, really. Like, he's a good person with a lot of mental capacity. He's a very intelligent person. So it automatically became obvious to me that this is a character, despite how his quirk works, and then later down the line his quirk works very differently, but despite how his quirk initially worked, he would have a Keto type Zanpakuto. I think it works with Midoriya. It would be a standard katana. Now, what is the name and release command of this Zanpakuto? Well, I think it would be first off, let me actually just get something up here real quick. I need to get the Japanese to or English to Japanese translator up here real quick, because I think I might be actually changing the name literally mid-video, because I think I like a different name better. So let's see. Let's see here. So that's that. And if I took that name out here real quick, Hato, okay. So I'm probably going to go with a slightly different name here, but it's going to be Sun Hato, or Twin Dove. Now, its Bankai would be Sunhato Miradatsu, or Twin Dove Mirror Dance. The spirit of this would not be a dove, but in Shikai would be an angelic young boy. Think Lusamon. That's the first image that came to my mind. Lusamon from Digimon Frontier, if you've ever watched that. And then it would, and its Bankai, it would look more like a man, like an angel. What would the form of the Zanpakuto be, though? Well, that is the thing is, the Shikai. This is one of those Shikais that probably doesn't change form. Or if it does, it's a very minimal effect, because its ability isn't really tailored to its appearance. The attack basically analyzes and develops a counter Keto technique to whatever the ability was that was used against it. That being said, it can develop a counter, but if your Ryatsu can't outmatch your opponent's Ryatsu, it doesn't matter if the ability would naturally. For instance, if Deku goes against, I will throw a random Bleach character out here. Let's use a captain. Toshiro. If he goes up against Toshiro, where his Keto ability would most likely be an intense like heat blast, something like that, continually raising the temperature. But if it doesn't have the Ryatsu, if he's only got, like, say, Lieutenant class Ryatsu versus the Captain class Ryatsu, well, yeah, he can raise the temperature, but it doesn't really matter if its Ryatsu can't really match Toshiro's, then it's kind of without, it kind of doesn't matter. Yeah, he might be able to weaken it to some degree, but he's not going to be able to beat it. Now, this does sound very similar to some other characters I've done Zanpakuto for. I don't know if I've done, I'd have to, let me actually go through my playlist and see what I've done, because I know I've done similar, and I know I have similar characters up here who have similar based abilities. The difference here is that whatever the counter is, it is strictly a keto-based ability. So even though, for example, I use like the raising of temperature as a counter for cold, it would still have to be done through a keto-like method. Let me just quickly see who else I've gone through here right now. Man, I've actually gotten a lot of people down on this series so far. So, nope. Onaga, Yusuke, Minato. Dr. Bright kind of has a Zanpakuto similar to this, at least the one I created him. As does Rick Sanchez to a little bit, a somewhat degree, but definitely not the same. Nope. Let's see. Wow, I can't believe that's right. I did one for Karin too. I completely forgot about that one. L maybe has a similar Zanpakuto as well, but there's always going to be similarities between, like, every Zanpakuto is unique to that person in terms of who they are, what they are, but the abilities may mirror other abilities. There are multiple fire type, multiple elemental type, multiple melee types, so this ability might not be the most unique, but in terms of Deku, it is the most unique because, unique. It is different because it strictly is a keto-based ability. So let's put him up against someone like a melee ability. Let's put him up against Ikaku, whose Zanpakuto really is just a 3-section staff that has a chain connecting to it. Well, how do you use a keto ability to counteract something like that? Well, after engaging for a little bit, he realizes the staff can, suddenly break away and, attack. So the Shikai basically makes like a blocking mechanism around the blade to stop the 3-section staff from hitting it. Now, this goes into one of the weaknesses that the Zanpakuto, and by extension Midoriya, need a little bit of time to analyze the attack that's been used against them. Shunsui, for example, would be an extremely difficult opponent for this type of Zanpakuto because of how varied his Shikai and Zanpakuto is. Honestly, Midoriya will probably have an easier time against his Bankai just because there's only 4 stages than he would against his Shikai. Uehara is another individual whose Bankai whose Shikai is just constantly creating different techniques. Whereas someone with just one single ability, Getsuga Tensho, Ichigo, yeah, he sees that, he reacts, and now he has a counter keto for it. So that is the Shikai. The Bankai, this is where you actually get some like physical effects. 2 large mirrors basically are created and are constantly circling around Midoriya. Basically every attack more or less travels through one mirror while basically being redirected as a counter attack towards the opponent through the other mirror. And similar to like Kagerosa, in that arc, the Reigai Rebellion arc, or whatever I can't remember the name of that arc specifically. If say someone were to just be attacking with an attack, like just with their sword, the mirror can block that attack and basically copy and create a doppelganger of that opponent to basically come and attack them. Now, the doppelganger probably won't last very long. That may be just a matter of Ryatsu on Midoriya's part. Maybe the more Ryatsu he puts into the counter attack, the greater, the longer the clone could last. But in theory, Midoriya could just, copy any attack that comes to him, and then copy it back even stronger, or, a countered version of the technique, like an opposite version of it, something along those lines. Obviously, though, the biggest weakness of the Zanpakuto, Shikai and Bankai alike, is Ryatsu. If Midoriya does not have the Ryatsu to equal as a foe, then he's going to be screwed. If he goes up against Ryatsu monsters like Kenpachi, Yamamoto, Aizen, Ichigo, Ichibei, and I'm using those are extreme examples, but they're still good examples, then like his Bankai won't matter. Kenpachi and Nozarashi will just cleave through that mirror. Midoriya might be able to counter some of the fire from Yamamoto, but he can only counter so much before he gets overwhelmed. Aizen's Shikai is obviously, hacks. So I think this actually works very well to the type of person Midoriya ultimately really is. A very, not well gentle, but a very pacifist ultimately individual who doesn't like to fight but wants to be a hero and is very intelligent and constantly jotting down notes, analyzing everything in between. So that to me is the Zanpakuto of Izuku Midoriya, aka the hero Deku. So that's my thoughts. But what do you think? What would you do for Zanpakuto differently if you did do anything differently? Let me know in the comments below. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you for the next one.